Okay, I wasn't gonna bump this rant up, but when I saw that people were sending the developers of No Man's Sky death threats because they delayed the game, it made me go, really? Are gamers becoming this much of entitled little shits that a game gets delayed from June 21st to August 9th that people flip their shit over a delay of 49 days? A month and a half and you send people death threats. What happened to being civil or at least showing some semblance of intelligence? Qui-Gon Jinn was right, the ability to speak is not a sign of intelligence. I often question what the hell is wrong with people. I often choose to go to stores late at night because I don't like dealing with everyday people as they remind me as to why I choose not to go out during the day. Situations like these make me facepalm so hard that my hand bursts out the back of my skull. Because these dumbasses make the entire community look so bad, and it's always for the most minor of shit. EA releases 25% of the game, calling it a full release, while they take the rest of it out for DLC, season passes, and microtransactions. Yep, that's okay. Ubisoft releases a broken and buggy game that needs several huge patches to make an attempt to fix. That's fine. Activision releases another Call of Duty game that'll be exactly like its predecessors. People will line up outside the door for that. Bethesda continually releases really buggy and glitch-filled games that they never fix, and they're loved by all. But an indie studio pushes back a game by 49 days. Fuck those fucking cocksuckers! Grab your torches and pitchforks, shoot them in the head, and fuck the hole! That'll show them for delaying a game by less than a month and a half. That tells me one thing. If you're one of those stupid little dipshits that gets pissed off because a game got delayed, then you weren't hugged enough as a child and probably not getting laid enough as an adult either. Are you that much of a basement dweller with a dick so small it's concave that you need to try and make your e-penis larger by sending death threats to a developer because they want to make sure their game works upon release? And even send death threats to those who just report on it? Oh man, this game plays like ass, but at least it came out on time, said no one ever, unless they ate paint chips as a kid or their mother drank while they were in the womb. You do realize that a death threat is a criminal offense, right? Because it's a form of coercion. You can be arrested, tried, and imprisoned for it. And since we all know it's mostly males that do this stupid shit, you have a very high chance of going to jail. Think with the big head, damn it. Show your disappointment for the delay in a constructive way, or turn a negative into a positive. Maybe they're fixing a major bug, or found out that it runs poorly on certain hardware configurations. And if you're some 10-year-old dick whistle that does this, you do know that there's juvenile hall, right? That's where minors go when they're convicted of a crime. Just because you're a minor, that does not mean you're invincible. And remember how the PC version of Quantum Break ran terribly on Nvidia cards but not on AMD cards when it was released? Or how Batman Arkham Knight ran like a shit slug over a salt block, and WB Games knew that it performed poorly, but yet they deemed it good enough for release. I hope that Hello Games delays No Man's Sky again, just to spite the people that sent them death threats. Games get delayed. So what? Do you actually like spending $60 on games that are broken and don't work? Are games like Ride to Hell, Retribution, Sonic 06, and Bubsy 3D some of the best games ever made to you? Then there's people who threaten Anita Sarkeesian on a regular basis. She does not deserve to be threatened, but does deserve to be scrutinized and criticized constructively for her biased opinions, terrible fact-checking, and cherry-picking everything that suits her agenda. But she does not deserve threats. I've often said ignore her and she'll go away. And guess what? She is. She's ending her tropes versus women in games and moving on to another project. You can look at her channel now and it's almost like someone pulled the plug on it, because she's not getting the views like she used to. Maybe averaging 50,000 per video versus the 500,000 to 1 million she used to get. That's a huge decrease. And why? Because people are tired of her bullshit and have decided to move on. She's no longer the flavor of the month. I called this about a year ago and I was right. If you ignored her, she would go away and find something else to talk about. And after all her efforts, nothing in the gaming industry has changed. So all that energy that people put against her was wasted. And who cares if a game got delayed? You're gonna buy it, play it until you bust a nut, and then that's it. You'll never touch it again. You got mad because you didn't get to throw away $60 yet. And that's what it really boils down to. You didn't get to flush your cash down the toilet on something that might not even be good. You saw my Doom review. I didn't even know that the game existed until it was released. So what did I do? I looked at some videos of people playing retail copies, like what I saw, and I bought it. And that's what you should do. Mighty Number 9 has been delayed several times, and more people were mad that some self-proclaimed feminist was going to change the game, when she only joined Concept to be the message board community manager. I'm sitting here questioning how the gaming community can have such bad aim when it comes to their anger, but can pop off headshots like there's no tomorrow, especially when they send threats to a guy who just reported on a game being delayed. No one cares that Mighty Number 9 has been delayed so many times. It's become a joke. People are even doubting that it's going to be any good, which puts in a preconceived notion that it won't be. The more minor the issue, the more people get pissed off. Why get so mad at the small things? But the more major the problem, the more it's laughed at or made fun of, only to be shrugged off like gamers are going, "Oh, that big AAA company, will you ever learn?" Are people that used to that 6-inch wide strap-on covered in razor blades eviscerating their anus that they don't even feel it anymore, but yet they will back up into it hungrily? But when someone asks for 49 seconds of ball fondling, that's crossing the line apparently. It doesn't make sense to me. If someone came up to me and said that for $60, I could take a horse's cock up the ass for around 8 hours, but I'm not allowed to ride it. Or when given the second option of 49 seconds of fondling their balls and then I get to ride the horse, I would choose the option where I would not be bleeding from the asshole after all is said and done. That's on par with people being outraged paying an additional $5 a year in taxes if it meant free healthcare and free college, but would rather deal with a health insurance company denying to pay their hospital bills due to technicalities while dealing with debt collectors for unpaid student loans. Are we just that used to being abused by the systems in place that things that aren't abused are seen as abuse? It's like a girl who's with a guy that punches her in the face every hour on the hour, but stays with him no matter what. But then thinks that her male co-worker that brought her coffee that one time is up to something and just wants to get her into bed and therefore lashes out at the guy who's just being nice. I'm pretty sure that no one in my audience does that kind of shit, at least not the majority. But I'm pretty sure that some small percentage of you are sociopathic assholes, or will turn into one eventually. But I know that most threats like this are made by children or those who are adults with the mentality of children, who unfortunately are the ones the news media latches onto like the parasites they are, then broadcasts it to make the majority look terrible, who then in turn have to do damage control so that the argument of games making people violent doesn't start creeping up again. And that's the one thing you need to take away from all this. A minority of people can make a majority look terrible and screw it up for everyone. There are consequences to negative actions. One person screws up royally, then everyone pays for it in some form or another. Unfortunately, if you have an itsy bitsy teeny tiny little mind, we can't give you a sign that says you're stupid, because in today's politically correct world, that's exclusionary. It's astounding that the gaming community misdirects all of its anger for the most minor of offenses. While not only letting those committing the major offenses laugh all the way to the bank, gamers are happily driving the car while letting themselves get stabbed in the balls every 10 seconds as if senpai finally noticed them and are being rewarded. Well, you're not. You're a douche, cut it out, and stop getting stabbed in the balls. And now that is over, I have a question for you all. I asked it on Twitter, but I want a larger number of people to vote. Should I delay the Hitman Codename 47 review for a playthrough of Sonic 06 for Sonic's 25th anniversary or not? Click the link in the description to cast your vote.